Recently, we have been reading a lot about the Tablighi Jamaat, but who they are and how they practice their faith is not widely known. We know that on the fashion front, they will never make it to the front cover of GQ because their style of dressing is a rejection of Western civilization. Pajamas instead of trousers are worn high up on their waist like the style from the 1930s, so as to keep it above their ankles for reasons of hygiene, but mainly because it was the tradition at the advent of Islam. Hugh Jackman in Wolverine kept facial hair similar to them with a shaved upper lip, except that the Tablighis don't trim it and let it grow unkept. Like the Mormons of Utah, USA, who are an offshoot Christian cult with ancient traditions and practices even in today's modern age, the Muslim Tablighis also shun modernism in so many ways that IKEA would go bankrupt. For one, they don't sleep on beds, don't eat on a dining table, nor sit on chairs, or ever use a fork or spoon at meals. Instead, they have a particular technique for eating with their hands, always using just their index finger, middle finger and thumb, and strictly follow certain ancient practices and customs as they existed in 600 AD during the time of their Prophet Muhammad. Like not using toothpaste. Instead, clean their teeth with a twig, miswak, just as their Prophet did. Known for their orthodox position on religious matters,
we are only concerned with what lies in the heavens above and 6 feet under.
The Tablighis are Muslims just like any other, having almost exactly the same beliefs and rituals. Islamic theology has had numerous schools of thought over the years, most of which died out or have very few followers remaining today. All except these 5 major schools survived. The 4 Sunni schools, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi and Hanbali, and the lone Shia school, Jafri. It is the Hanafi school that is dominant in India, only very recently breaking up into Barelvis and Deobandis, of which the Tablighis are an offshoot, formed as recently as 1926. The cult came into being after Muhammad Ilyas Kandla from Muzaffarnagar, UP saw Malkana Rajputs and Neo-Muslims of Mewat in Haryana state, who had at some point in the past converted from Hinduism to Islam, still followed several earlier traditions like applying tilak on foreheads or wearing of sindoor, and who at that time were actively being lured back into the fold of Hinduism in a repurification ceremony, Samaj Shuddhi Karma, organized by the Arya Samajis. In a bid to stem the tide, he tried to inculcate alien Arab practices and traditions into them that would forever ensure against their reconversion.
Oh Muslims, become true Muslims.
Setting up the Tablighi Jamaat at Banglewadi Masjid Nizamuddin, New Delhi, giving his headquarters the Arabic name Markaz or Center, placing the entire emphasis on proselytization or spreading the faith, which is what the literal meaning of the word Tabligh means, to spread. Yogendra Sikand in his book The Origins and Development of the Tablighi Jamaat. Tablighis believe Muslims in non-Arab lands do not understand Islam. Therefore, they take up the role as preachers, sacrificing their personal time for missionary work, and travel across the country in the hope of spreading their version of truth. Unlike other Islamist groups that seek political influence, Tablighis have purposefully kept out of the sphere of politics, keep a very low profile, and till now were almost unknown outside of Muslim circles. The organization has never been banned, not even during Indira Gandhi's emergency when she banned their counterparts Jamaat-e-Islami. Of India's 2 major Sunni Muslim branches, the Barelvi sect believes in a more tolerant and spiritual version of Islam, praying to saints in dargahs like at Haji Ali, Mumbai, and accepts the use of music so long as they are in praise of God or saints through melodious qawwalis. The Deobands, influenced by hardline Wahhabis, strictly forbid saints or music, and is the philosophy followed by the Tablighis as well, who because of the nature of their origin focus instead on preaching dogmatic issues like avoiding pagan practices, participation in jatras and urs, celebrating Holi and Diwali, or even accepting prasad, with an emphasis on rituals like the proper way to pray or the proper way to look by growing beards and dressing as Muslims. With a focus so deep into ritual and dogma, they are often criticized for ignoring other realities.
Tablighis believe Muslims should not protest when they are targeted in pogroms instigated by militant Hindu groups in India or by the Israelis in Palestine.
However, this ritualist dogma has led to extreme conservatism among its adherents, and some, unable to reconcile with the modern world, turned to terror activities, though the organization itself was never blamed. Those involved in the 7/7 London bombings were adherents of Tablighi Jamaat. Zacarias Moussaoui, the only person to be charged in the 9/11 terror attacks, was also a Tablighi adherent in France. In his book The War for Muslim Minds, author Giles Keppel says,
Tablighi Jamaat was the first Islamic movement in Europe to target young people who had lost their identity, involved in drinking and petty crime. The Jamaat reorganized their lives.
Other than the former Soviet bloc Muslim countries of Uzbekistan, Tajikistan and Kazakhstan and Russia, where they have been banned, the Tablighis are active in more than 80 countries. In Bangladesh, the Jamaat holds an event called Biswa Ijtema, attended by 5 million people, even more than the 2 million who attend the annual Hajj pilgrimage. To fund their teaching, the Tablighis believe in the philosophy of na parcha, na charcha, na kharcha, no pamphlets, no advertisement and no expenditure. Members of the Jamaat ideally pay their own expenses and avoid financial dependence on anyone. Stay in mosque while traveling the prescribed 3 days every month or 40 days once a year to attend Jamaats and gatherings. Many Islamic scholars disapprove of the men who neglect the Islamic duty of being the guardians of their families by going off regularly on preaching tours. In March 2020, 2,000 foreigners from over 70 countries came to India for one such gathering. Some of whom, most likely those from Malaysia, carried the coronavirus, bringing them ignominy and into the spotlight. Despite their mistaken belief that their faith protected them from the virus, over 9,000 of their members got infected, including 1,300 foreign Tablighis. With 960 of them now blacklisted from ever entering India, the Jamaat's proselytizing work in the country may forever come to a standstill.
We urge the Foreign Ministry to refrain from granting tourist visas to foreigners who are likely to use it for missionary work, as it violates visa regulations.
The government will now also investigate whether the Jamaat receives donations from banned Islamic organizations or those run by hardline Wahhabis. The Tablighi Jamaat is already under pressure from within. 2 years back, it split into factions. The main branch run by Maulana Muhammad Saad Khandlawi from Nizamuddin, Delhi, and the smaller breakaway faction by Maulana Abdul Lad and Ibrahim Deola from Neral, 75 kilometers from Bombay. The Indian constitution allows everyone to practice their faith, and while there is no harm in following rituals and belief systems, surely they must realize that their rejection of modernity is hypocritical. Like the convenient use of trains and vehicles instead of modes of transport available 1400 years ago. The need for religion diminishes as science, technology and medicine provide us with better answers today than what religion did a few hundred years ago. Bizbo's Limerick. Religious cults try to spread their beliefs. They say follow what we preach and you won't get grief. There are always some rules which we follow as fools, expecting something external to provide us relief. Subscribe to Bizbo and click on the bell icon to get notified whenever Bizbo releases a new video. Sources of all our information is listed in the video description section.